following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
This isn't just a game, this is iRacing. All right, so we are here, by the way, and getting ready to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but for some reason, I am noticing on my stream that, my screen is black for some reason. Just give me a second here. I'm trying to figure out why it will not show the race on the screen here, so stand by here. It's like the last few minutes here have been kind of hectic on my end, so forgive the issues here, and just stand by one quick second. The stream is, I've got the race right here on my screen, but for some reason, the stream isn't picking her up, so I might have to do this the old school way, but stand by here for just a quick moment while I figure this out. I literally have gotten into the session like 5 times, and I've had some other issues come up here during. Let's get this off the screen. Let's see if that fixed the issue potentially here. But welcome in to Las Vegas. There we go. We got racing on the screen now. For some reason, OBS was open twice. As we get ready to go racing here for 130 laps, it's race number, what do we got? Race 4, I believe it is, of the, I've lost track of where I'm at now already. So, race number 3 of the chase here for the championship in the GLSR Mr. Radiator Premier Series as we come back from our week off in Thanksgiving week. And we return to a track that is a favorite to a lot of drivers here, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And a big race coming up here in just a few moments for the second time. The Premier Series going to be racing here at the 1.5 mile oval. Let's take a look at the point standings as we enter the 14th race overall here of the season. Sam Fontaine with a 12-point lead over Stephen Miles after a rough race there before the holiday break. And need I say, those 12 points between Fontaine and Miles is the largest advantage anywhere in the top 12 in the points. And if you don't believe me, look over in the far right column where it says behind it next. You will see no number bigger than 12. It is that tight right now from 1st to 12th, and it's going to continue to be tight here throughout the playoff season. So we are in line for a great race here this evening, especially in Vegas, a track that a lot of people love. And I think it's going to put on a very good show when it's all said and done here tonight. So hopefully we get a good group of guys who are ready to go racing. I see 22 strong right now, and a few of them, unfortunately, having some weather issues. More importantly, I think one, outside of me, I mean, yes, we've had some wind and stuff here, but Matt Telder up in Michigan right now experiencing 50-mile-an-hour winds and a lot of snow on the ground. I think by rule, does that not qualify for a blizzard? I have to look at the weather rules on that one. But anyways, qualifying about to begin here momentarily. But first, let's take a look at the schedule before we get into the hot laps, which is presented, of course, by Sammy Barnes and his Spicy Schemes Hot Laps. Tonight, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And then we'll go to Kern County next week and an Auto Club to finish it out here. So we're on a little bit of a West Coast swing to finish the schedule here of the 16 races here this season. As you see Brian Sutphin there in the background coming onto the track as we start Spicy Schemes Hot Laps. Presented by Spicy Schemes. Of course, the paint schemes for Sam Barnes and a bunch of other drivers who are out here running. There's Brandon Alphin coming on track. Joey Ladisor out there on the track right now. Brandon actually has the track record here, which he set, obviously, the only other time we've been here in the Premier Series. And that was back in 2023. As a matter of fact, the exact date of that race was May 31st of 2023. So about 18 months ago or so, Brandon Alphin won a 200-mile race here. That's all 3 cautions and 9 lead changes overall in that race. And his pole speed, well, he didn't win the pole, actually. It was Justin Bondurant who won the pole, the Vegas native Bondo with a 30.055. So let's see if that record goes by the wayside. Brian Sutphin going to be the first one to complete a lap, and he sets it at 31.77. As you see Alphin down there in the purple, as he's got the old Energizer battery car drumming along. As he will cross the start-finish line, 31.094. So it looks like that track record after one lap is pretty safe as we're here under the lights in Vegas. Always a fun setup here. Let's take a look at the 10. This is Matthew Wheeler. Brian Sutphin, 31.046. He's to the pole now. Jason Dalton up to third. Lucas Strayer, Richard Midkiff, and Ladisor as others cross the line. And that's Cam Ingram about lost it off turn number 4 there as he crosses the start-finish line. And he's just getting his lap started. Telder, 31.88. Down there in 9th right now. There's Tyler Brewer in the 40 car as he's out there throwing some laps around here. I want to welcome everybody in on this Wednesday evening. Hope everybody's staying safe where they are. And hopefully you've had a great week and a great holiday. And I see Tyler Pluff is in here. Tyler, want to give him the best wishes, obviously, to he and his family as he and his wife welcomed a newborn into the world. So everybody give a shout out to Ben, who is hanging out. And need I say that this is potentially Ben's first race he's watching, I would hope. So, Ben, I just want to go ahead and apologize to you, young man, and say I'm sorry you had to be the first person you hear on a broadcast. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, all the safeness to the Pluff family, to mom and son there, and congrats to those guys who are watching. Devin Ramsey, unfortunately, missing the race tonight. Scott Hayden is in the Christmas spirit, apparently. Here's Tristan Ladisor as he brings 7 car getting a little loose there through 3 and 4 as he comes to the start-finish line. As he plots in somewhere on the grid. Oh, there he is. He's just starting his lap. That's why he's not on the grid yet. Alphin, Fontaine, Pierce, Sutphin, and Midkiff, your top 5. Great lap for Richard there. But I see AB right now in the purple in that Pennzoil paint scheme, the Gradient number 38 car. As he brings it off turn 4, across the start-finish line. And bam, 30.823. It is now a 1-2 for Laser Racing. Are they going to go 1-2-3? Because here comes Miles. And you got Jason Clark still out there on the track. You got about 45 seconds or so to get their laps in. Lottasaur 31.50. As Miles going to complete his first lap, he'll be able to get a second lap in barely. Jason Clark's trying to get to the start-finish line. He'll get one lap in, it looks like, which will actually put all 21 of the 22 cars on the grid as Lottasaur jumps to third, 30.9. Let's see what Stephen Miles can do here. Of course, he had a rough race last week or 2 weeks ago. As Miles comes to the line, and he goes second, 38.28. So all three of the laser cars within 7 1,000ths. Clark did not get to finish his lap. And Alex Bryson going to be the Spicy Schemes Hot Lap winner here tonight at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, cars start to roll off in this just shy of 200-mile race. Under the lights here in Rock Vegas. It is the laser cars up here at the front. 1, 2, 3. Bryson, Miles, Alford going to lead it to the green. Tristan Lottasaur going to start there on the outside of row 2. Sam Fontaine, Diego Sainz there in row 3. Ben Pierce, Dylan Rosenberg, row 4. Brian Sutphin and Richard Midkiff, a great qualifying effort for the 29 car, will start P10. Jason Dalton, Matt Telder in row 6. Lucas Stringer, Sean Peachin there in row 7. Lucas, a Truck Series winner here in his Monday Night Series. Joey Lottasaur, Cam Ingram, row 8, row 9. Cedric Ingram, Tyler Brewer, Matthew Wheeler, Caleb Fosnot, Clark, and Thornton, the 22 starters. That'll go 130 laps, 83 degrees right now. Track temps at 84. Under clear skies, a little breezy. We are about to put on a show here tonight as a packed house in Las Vegas as the pace car pulls in as we are back from Thanksgiving holiday and ready to go. 2 races to go after tonight. Who gets the momentum into the playoffs? And race number 3 is underway as Miles gets a real good jump on Bryson. As they race their way to turn 1 and 2, our cameras presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online, on Facebook, in the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As Miles with a good run down the back straightaway, he'll go to the lead as Lottasaur tries to get second. That's Tristan Lottasaur. The young man, the son of Joey, tried to make a move there for the lead, but unfortunately lost the back end as we complete lap number 1. Bryson already climbing as here comes Brandon Alpin there at the bottom side. You see the 77 of Fontaine. You're going to see these cars race all the way from the bottom to the top throughout this race. Tire preservation is going to be a real big topic here this evening. As the tires will fall off here, the handling will come into play for these cars. It can make it very interesting here. Dylan Rosenberg, who's had a terrible start so far to his playoffs. I don't think he's run more than 20 laps in the playoffs in one piece. Pretty much everybody in a single file train, the first side-by-side battle. I mean, you're going all the way back here to where Lucas Strayer is with Richard Midkiff and the one of Matt Telder. This is the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. There's Peachin behind them. Peachin in his other hometown. Of course, he was born here in Indiana, but lives out there in Rock Vegas. So good, everybody just kind of be impatient, letting the race come to them. This track, of course, was built back in 1997. Mark Martin winning the first race here. Originally was a flatter track. It was 12 degrees of banking. Same setup. And then obviously back about 2006, they did the 18 to 20 degree progressive banking that you see at tracks like Kansas and Homestead also. Obviously a little bit of a different look here at Vegas compared to the Homestead and Kansas tracks. That's why you kind of see it racing a little different. As a lot of Soar trying to get the lead, but Miles chopping the nose off there early. He wanting to hold that lead as much as he can. Wants to lead as many laps as possible, get whatever bonus points he can get. And this coming after a very rough race last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, at Road America. Miles with a chance at a good finish. And had some unfortunate deals happen there. He still did finish sixth in that race. Brandon Alphin winning that race from Fontaine, finishing there in the second position. But you even had to go to the race before that, which of course was Chicagoland Speedway, where Miles was up there on his way to potentially winning that race. And Fontaine was able to grab that win, leading 15 laps over Miles. So it's been top three in the series, you can argue. Sainz, Miles, and Fontaine up here at the front most of the campaign here, especially in these first two races. And I expect to see the same here tonight. That's what's going to make it tough for Miles to make up a 12-point disadvantage. I mean, 12 points doesn't sound like a lot. That's 12 positions on the track plus bonus points. But when you got Fontaine, who's back here trying to pass his teammate right now for the fourth position, that's only 3 points plus bonus points, which is not many. So obviously what Miles needs is for Fontaine to not have the best of finishes, and he go out here and lead almost all the laps and get a win, and he could be back in this thing, especially going to a track next week where there is so much unknown that's going to come, including myself, because I don't even own the track. It's one of the rare tracks I don't own. As Bryson actually kind of caught the wall there a little bit with Kern County. A short track, half mile, out in Bakersfield, California. For the first time, you will see GLSR racing on that short track, which you could call a wild card when it's all over with. Laps on the board already in this race. Miles with only a 1/10 of a second lead over Tristan Ladesseur. Brandon Alphin there behind him. And knowing how much I know Miles, he was probably on that rig running as many laps as he could here at Vegas this week, getting ready to bring his A game. There's not a single battle on the track until you get to 21st. That is more than a second of separation. Everybody is within a second of each other as you look through the field here. Obviously, the draft playing a pretty big role. But also, when you have a fixed setup, a lot of people on the same type of strategy and so on and so forth. Great parity in this series. Great parity in the driver's talents here. And we're seeing it on display here this evening. As up here for second, Ladasor, who is right there in the back bumper of Miles, all of a sudden falls back into the clutches of Brandon Alford. And your only winner here in the Premier Series up to the second position now is the 21. Tries to make it a second straight win here. Not only that, but a second straight win overall here in the series. And as per usual, a reminder that the numbers up top, if they're green, they're in the playoffs. They're a chase driver. And you see 5 of the top 6 make that 6 of the top 7 for all playoff names, all the way back to Ben Pierce there in the 8th position. So, Ladasor and Pierce in the top 8 right now. As a matter of fact, those are the only 2 in the top 10 that are non-chase drivers here. As Ladasor gets close to the wall, and here comes Fontaine now. He's going to snag another spot away. As here's Ben Pierce. He's having a good start to this race so far, and so too Carr, the Alabama driver. Allen with Rosenberg. Mason Dalton there behind him in the little Captain eSports car. Again, big shout out to those from KJD who are running those paint schemes. Very grateful and appreciative of that. Pierce having to drive that car up the track. At first he was in the middle lane and went all the way up to the near the top side there before the exit of the corner. So you can just see how the car just kind of sliding around a little bit there. Back here, Dalton and Telder and Rosenberg, these guys. Of course, Dalton has been in that Final Four a couple times, and he's looking to get back to it. Telder in his first playoff run. Of course, Dylan Rosenberg with that surprise win earlier this season at Talladega, as he's trying to get himself back into contention to potentially getting for that championship. Because you got to remember, this is the first season without a Final Four. There's no elimination at all. It's 5 races for the 12 drivers to get themselves the championship. So a lot of work has to be done, because we'll probably in the next week or two start eliminating drivers that'll be in the running for the championship. And you know, let's check back here on Diego Sainz in the 5th position right now, as Diego 4/10 back from Alex Bryson at 44 car. Not having its usual qualifying that we've seen recently, where he's been up there toward the front most of the time in qualifying. But still doing a good job right now in the 5th position here as we complete lap number 20. Of course, the Mr. Radiator Premier Series. Big shout out to Mr. Radiator, which is owned by Joey Ladasor, who runs back here in the 19th position right now. Miles has led all 21 laps so far in that 24 car, and he's starting to kind of stretch it out. 1.1 seconds. If you're going to get by Miles, I think the early run is the way to do it, because as these tires wear down, Miles usually gets better on that longer run. And I kind of compare this to Those good old days where anytime you saw Matt Kenseth start a race up in the top 10 in qualifying, there was likely a problem coming for the field because Matt Kenseth was never a good qualifier. And when he qualified in the top 10, that 17 car was usually pretty fast. And I'm kind of throwing this out to the 24 right now of Miles. He's usually a pretty good qualifier, but if he's out here and he's already pulled away from the field after 20 laps, uh-oh. That's the only thing can be said. This 24 is definitely a rocket ship right now. But obviously plenty of racing to go. Still got over 100 laps. Still got at least one pit stop in this race. Let's jump back here as there's Telder and Lucas Strayer and Brian Sutphin there behind him as these guys continue to race real close to each other. At 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th positions here. Strayer with a good run down the back straightaway there. Decides to not make that move as Travis Bartlett joining in. Hello, Travis. Welcome in, sir. First 19 laps have been green and good, along with the other 3 or 4. But we appreciate you coming to join us, sir. Of course, appreciate all the viewers for coming to hang out on this Wednesday evening. Kind of hinted on this in the Discord pages, but I know a lot of us. I mean, I think the immediate assumption when we think of guys who race on sims and stuff like that, and play video games, we might not be the necessarily card person. But one thing I'm given an opportunity to do, especially for those who have partners that are in the household there and, you know, plan on probably making that run to Dollar Tree or Walmart or wherever, Target, whatever store it is that you like to go to get cards. Well, we're kind of helping you. As Sutphin getting out of shape there. Just noticed on the back straightaway. But here in a little bit, we'll put a link in the page here to show you for a pretty small value, and you can purchase cards that I actually created for you. Pretty good deal for Christmas, by the way. So, pretty cool deal there. Definitely proud of the creative work I did because I can barely draw a stick figure. And I did all this work. See now with the side-by-side battle with Strayer and Telder. Sutphin's come into play. Sean Peachin now in that Prudential 69 car. Rosenberg who's kind of fallen back a little bit. .27 laps complete, seeing about a second and a half already, almost 2-second drop off here in these first 32 laps. And you know, I go back to the Monday series I cover here, and of course they run the next gen cars, and those cars usually get about a second drop off after about 30 to 35, 40 laps. And I always make the comment in there where it's hard to make it if you're running a one-stop strategy like this race is kind of set up to be, it's hard to maybe try a two-stopper because you're not seeing the fall off. Now we're at a point in this race where, I mean, if you're struggling in the playoffs, aka Dylan Rosenberg or Sean Peachin or somebody like that, you know your only way to go is to try to do something opposite of everybody else. You get somewhere to lap 45 here. 45. Some contact, Telder and Peachin. Lap 40 to 45 in that range. Come to pit road, get tires, make it a two-stop race. You're looking at being about a second and a half, 2 seconds faster than the field on those fresh tires. Maybe could do some undercutting here. I'm just throwing it out there. Not saying it's the right decision to make or anything, but as Larry McReynolds, even Steve Letarte said it a few times, and I've kind of emulated it myself. If you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader out here. And if I were to put the early analysis on here, I'm seeing your fastest 3 cars right up here at the front right now. Miles is pretty quick. 1.1 seconds over Brandon Alphin. 1.2 over Fontaine. And then you got Bryson, Diego Sainz, and then Tristan Lattisore still there in that 6th position. So, as mentioned, still a lot of racing to go, but Got the green flag look here. And this is definitely setting up to be one that could come down to pit strategy when it's all over with here. Go back here to Sutphin and Peachin as they continue to fight it out. And right in front of there as Dalton gets a little free. He's trying to pass Ben Pierce, the battle of the twos. That's 32 laps complete. Really impressed with how these cars are racing here tonight. Obviously these cars running all different kinds of grooves, but being able to stay together with the help of the draft. Track temp really hasn't fallen much, so the setup is still kind of looks like a little bit on the free side. Well, up here is Tristan Ladouceur is starting to fall off now, so I wonder if he burned those tires up a little bit, as he is now in the clutches of Dalton and Pierce as this battle for the 6th position. As promised, here is your link for those who might be interested. Simple generic Merry Christmas cards for family members or friends or whatever you can purchase now. Shout out to Lauren Wise, who bought some last night, as a matter of fact. So 35 laps caution free here so far, as Stephen Miles has led them all. But the fighting has been right here mid-pack. As Pierce tries to get around Ladouceur, Strayer about 4 tenths behind him. Then it's 2 tenths back to Telder. And pretty much everybody else 1, 2, or 3 tenths back to the 18th position. Even Cedric Ingram joining the battle here. Jason Clark trying to get up in here. Would not be surprised one bit if that 20 car by the end of this race is up there fighting for a top 5 to top 10 position. Ladouceur's been able to hold off Pierce here for a moment. And then the 3 that have been battling most of this races. Here comes Brian Sutphin to pit road, lap 37. This might be your first stop on the strategy. We'll have to see. Keep an eye on Sutphin's pit time here. Lap 37. If he's splitting this into 3s, he is going to make it a little bit longer on these next 2 runs, but shouldn't be too much longer. Look at 93 laps, so 93 obviously divided by 2 would get you 46 and a half. As Sutphin leaves pit road, 15-second stop, so there he goes. He's going to be on the freshies now. As there's your leader by 1.4 seconds. Stephen Miles. Of course, trying to get himself another championship in this series. Unfortunately, he's going to have a little bit of catching up to do, and he is doing exactly everything you can do as of right now to get back into this running. As we watch Bryson start to put some pressure on Fontaine. This is going to be a battle for the third position. As AB getting some clean air on the nose as much as he can. So I pulled up some numbers this season. And not only this season, but the other 3 seasons of the Premier Series. And as well, contact back there, see Clark a little out of shape. As he had to go catch it, looks like, down the back straight. And Brandon Alfin comes to pit road. So here we go. Let the strategy begin. As long as he's not speeding, don't hurt yourself here. So lap 42, here comes your off strategy. Cedric Ingram to pit road. I was wondering if anybody would try something. So 4 tires and fuel for the Energizer Bunny, and here comes Stephen Miles to pit road. So the leader comes in, and he's going to a two-stop strategy. So that hands the lead to Sam Fontaine, which is not the scenario I think Miles wanted, but Fontaine's going to lead a lap here. Has 4 tires and fuel for the Georgia driver. Bryson's going to come to pit road. Diego Sainz coming in now. So yeah, this sets up to go exactly a 2-stopper and just run a set of 43 to 45 laps and get to lap 130. As Sean Peachin's on pit road now also. Let's see if Fontaine comes in here. Here he does. Boy, now I'm almost thinking the opposite here. The leaders are all doing this. Somebody's going to put this strategy and go the other way with it. Here comes the 77, the 02, the 41, the 29 all in. That's at lap 45. This tells me the tire wear is actually pretty big, if that's the case. Fontaine a 14.9 as Pierce, Midkiff, and Strayer still in. And now caution comes out. Oh my gosh. Caution comes out. I'm looking for it on the map. And it looks like it's for Jason Clark into 20. Jason is towed to pit road, and there he is. As the caution comes out, and oh boy, that's the only thing I can say to this. Oh boy. Let's get your replay of what brought the caution out here. Should mention Vegas, one of those tracks that is very conservative on cautions. Oh, and he and Telder get together. That's going to be an interesting combo in the treehouse. He about got clobbered by a couple cars. I don't know if there's some miscommunication there or something. See this from a crash cam. I'll have to put this into slow-mo because right off the bat, it almost looks like both cars were going for the same piece of real estate. And he had, obviously, Telder was moving up the track to avoid the 38, but I think Clark was also trying to come off the wall a little bit. Let me see if this is right here. Let's slow it down. You see Telder's drifting up. He sees the 38 coming out of pit road. 20 still in his lane, still in his lane, still in his lane. He's starting to fade down a little bit. So I don't know if I could put that on anybody specifically. But unfortunately for Clark, need I say he slides into the inside wall, bringing out the caution here. This is going to trap some cars a lap down, and this ends up being a lucky break for Brandon Alphin, for Miles, for Fontaine, as these guys all were able to be ahead of the leader when the caution came out and stayed on and got back on the lead lap. However, for Diego Sainz, he is now caught a lap down along with Sutphin and Pierce and Strayer. So tough break for the 44 here in what has been a pretty good season for him. So before we go green, I'm going to step away from the microphone for a quick second. All right, here we go. Getting ready to go back to green at lap 49. I don't know if that's a safe move to make, Devin. I think for the final race, maybe we could do that, but not right now. All right, so Alphin, Miles, Fontaine, Dalton, Lattisour now your top five. And then you got the guys that were leading the race when the caution came out. Matthew Wheeler, Cam Ingram, Dylan Rosenberg, Jacob Thornton, and Joey Lattisour, your top 10. As here we go, green flag back out. Oh, so contact, one car loose back there. That's Cam. And he spins around and others going to get involved. I think Sutphin got some damage. And Cam Ingram, the second caution. And his car might be broken. He's going to bring it to pit road. And I saw Sutphin take his car to the garage, it looks like. Oh, is it doing the float thing that it does it like Charlotte? I know I've seen that plenty of times. Is that what it's doing there, bud? I was curious. That's interesting. I totally had forgotten that was going on here at Vegas. It seemed like it looked like the caution was already happening here. Let's get you a good look here. Here we go. So yeah, some contact there between the 5 and 91. The 42 gets them all the way around there. And oh, T-bone stake by the 26. As it is very windy outside. It is snowing sideways outside my house right now. Weather report brought to you by something. Let's go back to the green flag here and watch this restart with Cam. He's on the inside of the 10 car. Oh, he's losing the back end right there on entry. So probably colder tires, I would say, a product of that also. As Lattisour does a great job missing. There's the T-bone from the 26. So basically what Clark is saying in chat, for those who are trying to understand what he means by the float part. So basically what's going on is these cars, and I've seen this at Charlotte before, but here in Vegas, it seems like what the cars are doing is it almost feels like the car is on top of the track. I mean, literally it is, because, you know, tires obviously on the rubber or on the asphalt, but the car literally feels like it's floating above the track, and it just kind of moves around. And that's where the contact, unfortunately, happened with Telder and Clark. Here we go, second caution. And we're going to go green here with 77 laps to go here. So here we go. Alpin leads them to the green. Good restart for the 21. Dalton going to go to second. Fontaine to third. Lattisour and Miles, your top five. Something, I'm sorry to see you were involved in that, bud. And obviously not happy with the setup, as back there, that Caleb that just pounced off the outside wall. Now Wabash car, he said Wabash to the wall. And he falls back there. Miles trying to fight with Lattisour here, and this is where I think Steven's going to be maybe a little more conservative than he would be out there in the clean air, because he knows he could burn his tires up here trying to make passes. Probably going to be smart here to kind of let the race come to him, let the run come to him here. Dolphin races off 0.4 of a second lead already here on Dalton. It's very interesting, Clark. Interesting. So back here, Bryson has been pretty fast here tonight. 7th position as he tries to work his way back up there. As he's got Rosenberg on his outside. You see Telner trying to get around the 10 of Wheeler. Those two have met a couple times here this season. And I should mention real quickly, just to clean up some things here, that caution, that second one, actually ended up being a good deal for the rest of the cars that were a lap down, as they are now all back on the lead lap after taking the wave around here. So Diego Sainz, Lucas Strayer, Joey Ladaseur, Ben Pierce, Tyler Brewer, Caleb Fosnot, Cedric Ingram, Richard Midkiff, Jacob Thornton, all now lead lap cars. Actually, I'm sorry, Thornton came to pit road there. He was already on the lead lap at that moment as Bryson takes the 6th spot away. Here's Tristan Ladaseur trying to hold off Miles. Miles with a good run topside here. He should be able to clear the 7, I would think. Well, no, 7 sends it in there pretty deep. He's going to slide up in front of him. Dirt track move here. Oh, there you go. He gave him room. That was going to be tight. Tristan is a dirt track racer, so would not have been surprised if he'd have slid up there. But he decided to hold off, and that's going to get real tight right here because he hit those bumps. You saw the flame come out the side of the car from having to lift because of the bumps. And Miles is going to clear him off turn 2. So move Steven up to the 4th position. As back here, Telder and Rosenberg now. Let's move Matt up to the 7th position. Let's jump farther back here as Bosnot and Brewer were side by side a second ago. Cedric Ingram and then Richard Midkiff back here now after his good qualifying effort. Guys going at it. And these guys going at it. It's now Rosenberg and Wheeler go side by side for 9. Now here's a very important part of this race coming up here. In 2 laps, we are going to be at the halfway point. There's been that bonus point that goes out to the leader of the race at halfway. And right now, unless somebody catches Brandon Alphin, it's going to be him getting it. See Diego Sainz, he's trying to catch back up after that unfortunate break there with that first caution. In the 11th position right now in the 44 car. As Fontaine looks behind him here. And he's got the 24 on his bumper. Looking to the low side. Here comes Miles, and Fontaine's going to fight him. Fontaine, one of those guys that would fight you at the McDonald's if it had 2 different drive-through lanes. If Fontaine occupied one of them, you were not probably going to beat him into the line. As across the start-finish line, Brandon Alpin picks up a bonus point for leading at halfway. And the Energizer Bunny number 21 car as he tries to get a second straight win. It's back here, Sean Peachin battles with Wheeler. Yeah, it looks like Peachin maybe had that little bit of a dead spot that we just talked about, with almost some contact to the 10 car. You know, the only way you can really fix the issue is to just try to make more space. I mean, it sounds weird. I know, like, when I talk about the Charlotte issue, I always tried to, when I was going down the back straightaway, I would always try to straddle the white line down the back straightaway. And yeah, believe it or not, it was like a groove off of the wall, or two grooves off the wall. I actually made extra room off the wall so that I wouldn't hit it from the car just kind of floating around a little bit. But here, the one thing you can really do is kind of make some space between you and the other cars. Miles still trying to get around Fontaine here. Fontaine sits on his right rear. Oh, and they're going to hit each other, wreck! Oh my gosh! The top two in points have wrecked. And more damage behind them. As Miles takes his car to the garage. Fontaine, his hood is gone. "60 laps to go. And the top two in the championship race have just wrecked over off of turn 2. This has really got interesting now. This pretty much could bring everybody into the playoff race now. As we'll show another view of that here in a second. Right now, all the cars on pit road. As race off pit road, Brandon Alphin going to win that. Dalton Ladasor, Bryson Telder, Peachin, Wheeler, Sainz, Strayer, and Rosenberg. Let's get another look at this. Just give me a second to get back here to the replay. Also, all the pit stops that all showed up on my highlights now. All right, so I'm going to go to the crash cam here, and we'll let you guys decipher this one. Of course, Fontaine gets right down there in the right rear, trying to pull the 24 back. And there's the contact. Now, obviously, the angle of this kind of looks weird with the far chase camera, because it's kind of at an angle here. But if you look really close, I want to look at this again before I say anything. Anybody notice how, and I don't know if this is Miles unwinding the wheel, but notice how his car is at the same angle as it slides up the track. It almost looks like, see how the car almost looks like it's just gliding up the track? That's kind of weird to me, because usually when you're tight or sliding, your car kind of goes straight. But either way, both cars involved, and Fontaine's still on track. Miles has gone behind the wall. And so far, Sam's been able to get the hood back on the car and get a decent portion of that damage fixed. Alrighty then. Let's do this real quick. Let's show you, those who just joined us or haven't seen the numbers yet, the point standings as we entered the race here tonight. As Fontaine led by 12 over Miles. And depending on how damaged that 77 car is right now, all of a sudden what looked like a rough race for Diego Sainz might turn into a promising race for he and Bryson, Brandon Alfin. I mean, Jason Dalton up there in second right now. This could go from a 2-car race into a 5 or 6-car race for the for the championship after tonight. So we'll have to see how it all goes here as we come back for the green flag. And we're going to do that and let you have the opportunity to turn your speakers up and enjoy as we turn it up here on the Captain eSports Network. Felder has moved up to the second position. Jason Dalton kind of falling back here in that outside lane right now. As Sean Peachin has moved to third, Alex Bryson up to fourth. As Alfin still up there in the front, and he's got company as here comes that one car. I think a lot of these cars realize what has just happened and feel like it's almost like one of those where after a certain event happens, like in football, if like a major star receiver or quarterback goes down, it's like the team's chance to pounce and take advantage of it. I think that's what you got here with these cars, and they're going to be out here racing hard now because they feel like this is their opportunity to not only get a win, but to get back into this playoff race. And that chase for the championship as Telder tries to the outside lane again on Alphin. Just not there yet here on the short run. But Peachin up there to the third position. He needs this night more than anybody, as he and Rosenberg have just unfortunately had terrible starts to their chase run. Now, I will throw this out there. They all came to pit road at lap 70. We did have a couple cars come in at lap 72 and top off. This could become a fuel mileage race if we stay green. So I think a magic number here we need to look out at is lap 100. Because you split the 60 in half from 70 to 130. You're meeting at right at lap 100. You could see cars come to pit road here and take a set of tires and fuel. Down here after cautions there in the middle part of this race, but well, pretty much everybody now single file throughout the field here. As Fontaine has actually come back to pit road to get more damage fixed on his car, so he's now going to come out of pit road and he's going to be 2 laps down in this race. So if there was blood in the water, it's definitely picked up. As Peachin to the inside of Telder for second. And he's going to take it away, as these two earlier had a little bit of arguing back and forth. Telder trying back to the inside here. Now Sign's going to look inside for 6th on Wheeler. Again, next Wednesday night from Kern County Raceway Park, Kevin Harvick's Kern County to be specific. We will run the 4th out of the 5 playoff races before we go to Auto Club to finish it out in 2 weeks. Of course, we'll have it, both races for you at 8:45 Eastern Time. He's trying everything he can here. And he will clear, so move him up to the 7th spot. Bryson trying to get around Dalton now in this battle for the 4th position. Oh, doing that. Bryson gets the outside wall there. That's going to hurt his momentum. That's going to bring Tristan Ladouceur into play here. Definitely starting to see the cars that might be a little bit better in the long run, especially in this specific part of the race. As Dalton starts to come back into the picture a little bit. Dalton takes the position away from his teammate there. Want to throw some shout outs out really quickly. First, we'll start with Jim Herrick and 40 Racewear. Of course, Jim doing a lot of hard work. He just wrapped up his Black Friday special on his website. You can get shoes, hats, shirts, and so much more. I know he's got some team reports and stuff on there now from their races. So big shout out to Jim, who's always doing a great job helping out the iRacing community, and you can get yourself some shoes and stuff to enhance your iRacing experience there at 40racewear.com. And also my buddy Mark at MC Racing here in downtown Fort Wayne. As it's windy outside and cold. And if you're walking downtown, I know where I'd be. I'd be in there on the sim racing, but if you're more importantly, we'll just give him a shout out for always having the Captain eSports Network there on the stream as people are in there racing and stuff and having a good old time. So appreciate Mark's support as always. So Alfin with 0.3 of a second over Sean Peach and Jason Dalton. Telder, Bryson, as Matt Factor side by side now for fourth. Here's Mr. Mark. Hello, sir. Oh, a little crossover move from Bryson. Oh, getting a little loose. Good battling here. Ooh, Tristan getting down there on the door to 38. Kind of interesting when you're in a spot like Tristan is, because this is only his third start of the season. He pretty much has run the 3 playoff races. And he's down here just having a good old time. And you know how easy it is for a full-time driver to say, dude, what are you doing, man? We're out here racing for a championship, and you're out here racing for fun. Let us have a little room. Very easy to do, but you know what? And how tricky it is to say, and it's easy to be that Monday morning quarterback guy out here sitting in front of a microphone. But it's like you think that all the guys are on the track here racing, they all deserve that space or whatever. So it's always a tough spot in that situation. Of course, people are going to have different feelings and that kind of thing. And that matters. Alfin starts to kind of fall back into the clutches here of the 69 and the 2 car. And now we're coming up to that lap 100 mark. So here's where that $1 million question comes into play. You know you cannot make it to the finish on the tank and fuel. Do you come on in here around the halfway point of this run, take that final set of tires you'll need to get to the finish? I think the immediate answer would be, I think if you're up there toward the front, I think you have to here. I think you have to split this run up if you can't make it on fuel, but if you think you can make it, especially those who are down towards the bottom of the chase grid, stay out, run it. See what you can get out of it. Save the tires up as much as you can. As Peachin now trying to fight for the lead, he brings Dalton with him. As here comes the Vegas native to the inside. Oh, and he shuts the door on Alphin and takes the lead. Would it be known that the guy who's last in the playoff grid, or second to last I should say, he's 11th out of the 12, just took the lead of this race with 31 laps to go. As they come up on the wounded Fontaine car. Dalton has gone by Alpin also. Is everybody staying out here so far? We hit 30 laps to go here at Las Vegas, race number 3 of the chase. And a race that on lap number 70 pretty much got flipped upside down and took the whole playoff points battle with it. As Lucas Strayers come to pit road along with Tyler Brewer. So here comes a couple of the Brewer Motorsports cars. They are going to try this stop here at lap 101. You've seen the lap times have fallen off about a second and a half to almost 2 seconds in this 30 lap run. I like the gamble here, no pun intended. We are in Vegas. We'll have to keep an eye on where Strayer and have come out. Looks like Lucas is going to be over in turn 3 right now as the leader's at the line. So about a second and... or not a second, a lap and a fourth is what the 41 would have to make up. You know, when you look at it, technically for it to be a gain, all you have to do is finish ahead of where you pitted from. Somebody like Tyler Brewer, who pitted and runs 17th, he barely lost anything pitting there. So all he has to do is get back to a top 15 or so, and that's a net gain for the 40 car. You know, it's very easy, and I'm guilty of this myself, to say, hey, I'm making this move to see if I can go try to win this race. But sometimes you can put yourself in a bad spot thinking you can win this race with a strategy like that, when the realistic goal would be, hey, let's just try to get a top 10 out of this. Even though I've been a 15th place car, then you know what? It's a gain in the end to try something like that. Telner going to come to pit road. So here's the first of the leaders to make this move. So 25 laps to go. Gets into his pit stall. 4 tires and fuel for the 1 car. As Cedric Ingram's going to come in there with him now with 24 to go. Here comes the 19 in. As Peachin just got a little bobble there off turn 2, it looked like. That's your top 3 underneath the blanket right now. Dalton getting a little loose. That's going to allow Alphin to get the run here on the front straightaway. As back here, Wheeler and Signs battle for the 6th position. Here's where 4 laps come into play already. Lucas Strayer did the undercut on Telder. Right here, Telder does have 4-lap fresher tires. But Strayer's already made up 7 seconds in these couple of laps since that pit stop. So the time's coming down. You're going to see them come into the picture here relatively shortly on the leaders. Brandon Alphin goes to the lead as both of them, Alphin and Dalton, go past Sean Peachin. And Alphin back past Dalton with 21 laps to go. And Brandon going to a little fuel save potentially there. And this race has had a whole lot of everything in it. As caution now comes out. Trouble for the 23 of Joey Ladasor, who has spun over in turn 3 and 4. And this is the only downfall of trying that pit strategy. As unfortunately, Telder's going to get caught a lap down along with Strayer, Brewer, and Ingram, those 4 cars that came to pit road. Going to have to likely take a wave around here and hope for a quick yellow. What happened? So the Canadian driver here, Joey Ladasor, the man behind the series sponsor, Mr. Radiator. That right front tire is stuck in place. I'm trying to get us a replay, but I can't get it to cooperate with me. We're in turn 1 and 2, going to go down the back straightaway. Oh, back end comes around and he hits that wall a ton. That's twice now we've seen the back end come around like that in turn 3s. You look at the incident earlier from Cam Ingram. And this brought the leaders to pit road. Let's see the pit stops here. Looks like everybody is going to take 4 tires and fuel here. As I look over at the numbers. Right there, Sean Peachin wins the race off pit road. very interesting here. Let's hear from the leader of this race. See if he would like to talk here with 18 laps to go. Let's bring the driver of the 69 car, the leader, up here. Sean, you got a copy, bud?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So here we go, man. 18 laps to go in what has been a wild one. Here tonight, we've seen the points battle get flipped upside down and so many other things. And here you are after starting all the way back in 14th at what technically is now your home track where you live, and a chance to get your first oval win here. Is the car good enough to hold off these other guys?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. We were not very fast in practice and qualifying, obviously, over 1 lap, but we have some pretty good short run speed and intermediate speed. Figured out some things in the line when I was driving, and so it's what's got me kind of a lot faster, and we've kind of had a lucky break there with that caution because we wasn't going to make it to the end, so.
Well, obviously it's worked out for you here so far, and you're going to have 16 to go when you get the green flag. Best of luck.
No, thanks so much. Going to need all of it.
Absolutely. Sean Peachin looking for his first oval win here in Vegas. He's got a very fast Brandon Alphin, who, of course, won this race in 2023. Diego Sainz now up to the 3rd position. Jason Dalton, Alex Bryson. Your top 5, Tristan Ladouceur, Matthew Wheeler, Ben Pierce, Dylan Rosenberg, and Richard Midkiff, your top 10. And for those who might be trying to send messages in chat, FYI, it looks like my chat's going in and out. I think part of this is the strong winds and snow flurries. I guess they're flurries. A little squall that came through a couple of minutes ago. Hitting the area here, probably affecting the internet a little bit. So I got a Christmas tree that's on behind me, and I keep wondering if my lights are going out or something, the way it's flickering behind me. It's kind of interesting, but I think it's the tree that's doing the magic there. Nonetheless, more importantly, here we go. 17 laps to go, coming to 16 to go as we get the green flag. Who goes to victory lane in Vegas tonight as Peachin takes the green. As Jason Dalton gets a real strong run through 1 and 2. Of course, these guys got to get their tires up to temp here. The car can get a little free here, if not a little tight. Now you can take the frozen rain. I'll take the snow. Car's getting loose. Alvin gets a little loose there. Got those bumps in turn 1. Car might have been driving on the splitter there just a little bit. As Peachin able to hold him off as there's Tristan Ladouceur there behind him in 3rd. As we're going to be 3 wide off turn 4 as Bryson tries the middle. Ben Pierce riding back there in 7th right now. These guys are not holding back now. Teller's going to hate me for this, but it's the old joke I like to say when I'm around him and stuff. When you get towards the end of the race, 4th quarter now, can't hold back. The old famous line from Waterboy. As Ladouceur trying to fight on the outside, that's Tristan. Oh, by the way, in the 7 car. And then you got the 2 laser racing cars behind him of Alphin and Bryson. Sainz has joined the battle, and here comes Pierce and Wheeler. Your whole top 10 all right here Telder's race just got worse. Unfortunately, his internet looks like it's falling out. And I don't see anybody else on track, so it looks like Telder will finish in the 17th position. But more importantly, stay safe up there. Blizzard-like conditions over in Grand Rapids right now. As Dalton trying to get around Peachin making that car as wide as the insurance policy on that car. Question is, how can you do this for 10 more laps without hurting the tires on this car the way the fall off has been? Peachin's not so far for these first 7 or 8 laps in this run. As Tristan Ladisor and Alfin make contact, did they save it? They did so far, and they did. And I'm pretty sure Alfin probably will not be happy about that. And now caution comes out. Caution, car in the wall, Cedric Ingram. Ooh, do you come back for tires? Does anyone have tires left? I mean, last time by, cars were about 4 to 6 to 7 tenths slower than their overall fastest lap. So this is an interesting position to be in here. We'll wait and see what they decide before we show the replay here. I am very surprised by this right here. Not because of Lucas Strayer pitting. I would have thought that people back here towards about 8th or 9th would have pitted. I mean, unless they're out of tires. That's the only thing I can think of here. Because this goes back to the whole following the leader thing right here. All right, let's look at the replay. What happened to Ced? Foss not there behind him. Uh-oh. Ooh, very bad look netcode-ish. You don't normally hit somebody in the right rear like that and spin them around like that. Just pushed him around. Wow. All right. Caution coming out. I'm sure Cedric wasn't too thrilled with that. But he and Lucas Strayer are the only 2 cars to come to pit road here. So Strayer's going to restart this race 14th with 4 fresh tires on the 41 car. As I look over here at some of the numbers and stuff going into this race here tonight, with the point standings, I can't help but notice that win column. As Sean Peachin, of course, leads this race, 0 wins this season. Jason Dalton running second, 0 wins this season. Tristan Ladouceur, obviously only his 3rd race, 0 wins. Brandon Alfin, of course, he won last week's race at Road America. He's trying to get a 2nd straight win. Alex Bryson, he picked up, or he's looking for his 1st win this season. It'd be a big one for him. Diego Sainz, he would be the first multi-time winner that would be trying to get his 4th win of the season, which would be a series lead. So there is so much right here to be gained and lost in these last 4 laps. I mean, outside the final couple of laps of what will be the championship race here in a couple of weeks, this might be the biggest restart of the season. And I say that for the sake of, you've got a bunch of cars right here with opportunities to gain points. But just as quick as you can gain them here, one mistake and a wreck could put you right back there and not be able to gain anything tonight. So here we come, 4 laps to go. Sean gets on the pedal, green flag back out. Already seeing 3 wide back there, turn 1 and 2. Peachin not able to clear Dalton as here comes the 2 to the outside. Got his teammate there behind him. Oh, and around goes Peachin! Off of Dalton's front end! And I think I definitely saw netcode there. Oh, that car's killed. He's going to see this. And I want to make sure before I even say this, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be... Let me look at this again here. I mean, look at that gap, guys. I mean, come on. I mean, both cars holding their lane and everything. And that's going to put this race in overtime. I mean, Peachin's going to be beside himself when he sees this. Dalton right down on the door, which nothing wrong with at this point in the race. You're racing hard. And unfortunately, Sir Netcode shows up and yanks the 69 around. Tough break there for the 69 car, and Plot thickens more now. So 3 laps to go. We should get 1 to go this time by. And we'll have the green-white checker, overtime number 1. With Dalton and Ladasur now going to be our top 2 with Alfin and Bryson. So teammates in row 1, teammates in row 2. Ben Pierce, Diego Sainz in row 3. And again, next week, Kern County. The first trip for the Premier Series to that track out in California. I'll have it for you here at 8:45 Eastern Time. Of course, we're off the rest of the week, pretty much from the league broadcasting standpoint. We'll have at least one, probably AI race for the What If series, as I call it. But Monday we'll be back from Iowa Speedway. And Tuesday, Talladega, and then Wednesday, Kern County. Yes, here we go, coming to the green. Appreciate all the viewers hanging out here this evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed the race. And hopefully we'll see you back here not only next Wednesday night, but on Monday night too, and Tuesday night. As here we go, spinning of the tires, green flag back out as Dalton starts on the outside lane and catches a lot of sore sleeping there a little bit. As Rosenberg to the inside, trying 3, maybe 4 wide almost. And around goes Rosenberg with Pierce. And caution comes out. And we try it again. Oh, wow. Not sure or if that was that dead spot that cost the 02 to get sideways there or what happened here. Let's see. Wow, I gotta look for another angle. It did. The 42 in the back of the 02 here. I see some contact there. Oh, boy. Well, then. So 7th caution waves. And we will have another attempt at a overtime finish here. Hello, Mr. G-Ball the Way 22. Appreciate you joining us. Welcome to the fun here at the end. Oh, I know who it is. I just give... Here's the problem. They don't know who you are. So that's where I just say the username. He'd see me with a boy? All right, so we should get one to go this time by. Dalton, Ladisor, Alphen, Bryson again. Your top 4. Dalton with a great restart last time by. Trying to get another one this time by. Tristan Ladisor, he's trying to get his first win in the Premier Series. Got the Laser Racing duo there behind him. And then you got Diego Sainz, who is already looking to gain a lot of points here tonight. And might even walk out of here the points leader when this thing's over with after being 13 points back entering tonight's race. With everything that has happened here. All right, so coming through 3 and 4. Trying this one more time to see who's going to go to victory lane here this evening in Vegas. Once again, Dalton takes that top side. I would expect Dalton to go early here. Into the restart zone, he launches. Here we go. 23 spins the tires back there. As here comes Alphen trying to get the run on Tristan down to turn 1. Tristan being defensive. Everybody make it back. Bryson trying to top side. Diego up to the 5th position. Thornton back there behind him in 6th. As Alphen tries to get around. Ladisor, slingshot move to the bottom. White flag, final lap. as around goes Brewer. And he goes for a couple I can't say it, spins. Let's call it that. Pirouettes. Is the word I'm looking for here. Bryson in the outside wall. As they come through 3 and 4, Jason Dalton gonna come to the checkered flag and score his first win of the season in a big playoff win. Diego ends up 4th after passing Bryson on the last lap. And Jason Dalton scores, as mentioned, his first win of the season. And gets himself some pretty big points here this evening. As I look over the numbers here really quickly again. Now, if I'm seeing this correct, is this Dalton's first? That might just be. Is this his first actual win in this Premier Series? That would be interesting. How about that? I did not realize that. Congratulations to... I want to make sure this is accurate. Checking over here at the numbers, this sure is. Jason Dalton, his first win in this Premier Series. So he's had multiple wins in the Truck Series, but never had that chance to go to victory lane in this Xfinity car until tonight. Polish victory lap, and the Virginia driver turns it down. And he's going to park it there at the start-finish line as we take a look at the final results here from the playoff race number 3. As you see, 4 of the top 5 playoff drivers, a 1-2 for KJD2 Racing. Brandon Alphin finishing 3rd. Diego Sainz, Alex Bryson, your top 5. Jacob Thornton, a good 6th place finish. Matthew Wheeler, 7th. Ben Pierce, 8th. Lucas Strayer gets back to 9th. And Cedric Ingram, 10th. Richard Midkiff, 11th. Caleb Fosnot, 12th. Fontaine ends up 13th and back on the lead lap. So that spin actually by Brewer got him an extra point there. Brewer 14th, and Dylan Rosenberg ends up in the 15th position. We look at the rest of the finishing order here. Sean Peachin, Matt Telder, Ladisor, Miles, Ingram, Sutphin, and Jason Clark. Puts the sandwich on the Jason one in last, unfortunately. Clark, unfortunately, involved in a wreck there towards the middle part of the race. That was definitely an entertaining one. Just a reminder of the unpredictability when it comes to racing. So we'll talk to the top 3 drivers here. As Brandon Alphin finishes in the 3rd position. Brandon, I'm pretty sure a little bit of disappointment there as you had one of the faster cars here this evening. It looked like your whole team had 3 of the fastest cars. Obviously tonight but unfortunately coming up a little bit short there in the end, but a third place finish for you.
Yeah, we all really pretty much our whole team tonight. We ran up front most of the night, and it was unfortunate too what happened with Miles there. Would have liked to see it end under green there at the end, but that's all part of racing. So can't complain too much. We had a good run, finished top 3, and just kind of slowly chip away at the points lead. Excuse me, and so. Yeah, I mean, that's what can you do? That's racing. That's part of it. So we'll pack everything up and get ready to move on to next week at Kern.
Seems like you're hitting your stride here a little bit. Got that win last week on the road course, had a fast car tonight, and now you go to a short track next week that I don't know if anyone knows what could happen. But you got some momentum, though. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, just hopefully just kind of build each week, each race, just kind of, take the good finishes and just kind of stack them, and then just kind of build up your confidence a little bit, and then see what happens with Kern. I mean, I'm not a huge short track guy. I mean, they're fun. Martinsville, if you can get them where they're run without a ton of cautions and stuff, so it should be interesting. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we've ever been to Kern, so it ought to be good. It ought to be a good broadcast, and just kind of see what we come up with.
Well, it's obviously good to see you have another good run here this evening. Congratulations, and send some shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, just like to give a shout out to everybody over at Laser Racing, Miles, Bryson, and also Devin, who couldn't make it tonight, but he was cheering us on, so that's always nice. And then also too, I gotta give a shout out to you, Skyla. I know here we're kind of rearing its head towards the end, but it's I always enjoy racing in leagues that you broadcast, man. So, and then you're the reason I'm actually in GLSR. I don't know if you remember that or not. You took a couple of us TI guys over here, so it's been a fun league since then. It's hard to believe how fast time's gone. So definitely, you're appreciated very much. So I just want you to know that.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, and obviously, great job as always. I'm happy for you, bud. Good job.
All right. Well, appreciate it. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, sounds good. Brandon Alphin, third place finisher in this race here this evening. Obviously, not what exactly he wanted, but he had a great run here tonight, and I always appreciate his kind words. And he is kind of true about that comment about getting him in there and stuff. It's obviously a few seasons ago when he made his debut here and stuff. So, all right, let's talk to our second place finisher. I wonder if his dad taught him how to do interviews. Well, I'm sure he knows how to do it. He races in real life, so let's do some let's test the young man here who does the racing in real life. So Tristan, obviously a good PR check here. See how you're doing with the practice with dad. But congratulations on your P2. Obviously showed you had a top 5 car all race, man, and almost had a shot there to win, but a little short there. But you did get the team a 1-2 finish.
Yeah, we had a really good car the whole race. Just played my cards right, stayed out of trouble, and at the end there, I didn't really want to interfere with Jason's chase run, so I just played a little defense.
Well, obviously, a fantastic race. I know you. I don't know how much you really get the chance to run out here, but I did notice a couple times tonight in some battles you had. I saw a couple of dirt track moves almost come out of you, and I was like, up, there it comes, and didn't really pull it off. I know you were trying to be safe out there, just having some fun. But talk about the racing out there with these guys. I know you've been out here for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, this is my third week out, and every week it's really hard battles, close racing. I can't pull any slide jobs or anything like that. Doesn't seem to work out, but no, it's been fun. These guys are a really good bunch, and the racing's really awesome.
Well, obviously a great job tonight, and send some shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Mr. Radiator, Glengarry Truck Center, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, and everyone else that has helped out.
All right, bud. Good job, and congratulations.
Thanks, Gal.
Absolutely. Tristan Ladisor, the second place finisher here tonight. Yes, he just came up close to almost getting that first win, but as he said, he was being kind of careful with the boss man and the guy that's in the playoffs there going for the win here this evening. And gotta admit, I'm kind of shocked at this stat that I just saw that Jason Dalton just got his first win in the Premier Series on the Xfinity side, that kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, man, I know he's won before here in this car, but apparently not. But welcome into Victory Lane.
Thanks, man. I told you I was going to get this Captain eSports into Victory Lane before this was over.
Well, you did your part, man. Great job tonight. Obviously, I know a little bit of a rough spot there towards the end of the race with the big net code between you and Sean, as you guys were racing tough there at the end of the race. But nonetheless, man, you ran up there in the top 5 as you and Tristan both did. You guys were up there battling hard, and just talk a little bit about the race there and how you were able to maintain and find the time to shine.
Yeah, I got, was able to get to the front there, and I got a little, not frustrated, but just racing there with Alphen. And me and him got together and lost several spots. Was able to kind of keep my composure and battle back there, and I was having a blast racing with John. We were talking back and forth. I really hate that net code happened. I was really wanting to battle with him to finish it out. And then, dang, man, all the green-white checkers, having to get the good restarts and all that. I mean, it just worked out. I'm lucky I didn't get taken out there with Sean and able to battle back, get the win there. Like I said, man, this one's for you. I told you was going to have that car in Victory Lane.
Well, you definitely went out there and earned it, man. Obviously, a good points night. This I know the wreck with Sam and Miles kind of mixed up this playoff race a little bit. Brought you back in it, brought Diego back in it. It looks like just waiting for the official numbers, but I think Kern County just got that much just more interesting.
Yeah, I've practiced a little at Kern. It's going to be an interesting, tough little track to run on, and the point situation and all. I'm not really sure. I think I was 6 or 7 something, but
I just saw.
I might have moved
sorry.
up a little bit.
I just seen the update. Sorry. I'm like,
that's all right.
Okay.
Do share. Where am I at?
Looks like right now you are 5th in points, so you moved up a spot. But this is where I tell you you're only 15 back now.
Yeah, it's finally had a good playoff run so far. Other than that first week, got in a little bit of a hole, but yeah, man, it's all about being consistent and finishing top 3 or 4, and what I'm trying to do.
Well, obviously, you're doing your part, man. Congratulations, and send some shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, just my teammates, they were really helping me out. Different things there at the end, and Tristan, man, what a run he had.
Right.
He ran awesome. So shout out to him, and again, just with Sean, everything. Hate that happened, but just all my friends and family and everybody that watches sports. I've already got a couple texts here and things, so really appreciate them supporting me. And 3 more to go? Let's see what we can do.
Absolutely, man. Great job tonight. Congratulations on your first win here in the Premier Series, but I know it's not the first win overall in the series, so maybe you'll get another one here before it's over with.
I hope so, man. And again, everything you do, we really appreciate it. You're top notch as far as broadcasters and stuff for iRacing. We really appreciate everything you do, man. Going to miss you.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the kind words. As Jason Dalton goes to Victory Lane here tonight at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and I'm going to go ahead and say it now, and I kind of had the feeling when everything happened back on lap 70, I'm like, oh, the points battle just got very interesting. And when I say that, I mean it, because as I pull up the points right now, there it is officially. We now have gone from what could have been arguably a 2 or 3 person race to a 6-person race for the championship officially. Obviously, numbers kind of can be tricky here, but with the 20 to 25 drivers that average show up here towards the end of the season, numbers would look like that we have 7 mathematically still left in it, but obviously if somehow 30 or so show up next week or even the following week at Auto Club, it would bring some of these where like Teller, Peach, and those guys into the battle here. But logically here, we'll look at the top 7 right now still eligible, and Strayer's, hanging on by a thread literally, but otherwise 6 drivers within 18 points now of the lead as we go to a half-mile short track coming up next week. And that is going to make things very interesting. So that gives you even more reason that you need to show up next week at Kern County and come join me, because anything can happen, and usually does in GLSR. Trust me when I tell you that. I've been here for many of short track races in this series. I can think back to races at USA that had, I think it was 17 cautions. I can think to races at Bristol where drama has happened. Matter of fact, I watched a team wipe each other out pretty much at the end of a race back in Bristol before. I've seen a finish at Bristol where 2 cars were facing the opposite directions crossing the line 1-2. Anything can happen on a short track, and it will happen next week at Kern County. So I invite you to come join me for that. So, by the way, there is a best of the rest category here, and they've got a little prize on the line right now, and Ben Pierce has himself a 1-point lead over Jacob Thornton in the best of the rest category. Matt Wheeler, Devin Ramsey is right there. Caleb Fosnock, Cam Ingram. As this battle's pretty tight here, as a matter of fact. So, I'll have to keep an eye on both these battles in the points championships here. What a race in the end. Jason Dalton, Tristan Ladisor, Brandon Alphin, your top 3 go to victory lane. And we now have a very interesting battle for the points championship. Going to be a fun week before we get to Wednesday next week. Again, this is the last league race of the week. For me, we'll have likely an AI race sometime this week. The What If Series, as I'm calling it, the Cup Series from 2024, running a non-playoff schedule. As we see what if the Cup schedule didn't have playoffs involved. So having a little fun with that on the side. So, and it will be back Monday, the next league race from Iowa Speedway. Again, Tuesday night from Talladega, Wednesday night from Kern County. So that'll be our 3 league broadcast coming up here next week. But everybody stay warm, stay safe. Obviously, Midwest here going to give you a little windy, as I've already heard. And I know Teller's got no internet now, so hopefully everybody in this area, especially like Ramsey and Terre Haute and others down in the Midwest here, Ohio Valley area, and even down to wherever this front's going. Everybody stay safe with the weather and stuff, and we'll try it again next week and have some fun. So remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.